Hello guys and welcome to the ProDota Cup series by Smashcast TV. We're here in the SEA region of this tournament, watching the game between Nasty Potatoes and the Prime NND. First of all, an apology not only for the technical problems just suffered, that is Dota, but also for not even being able to stream the first match. Sadly, some problems with the lobby made it so that we couldn't stream through ticket, and thus I wasn't able to either be in the lobby or have a ticket, and thus wasn't able to show you guys the match. Which I do apologize. Nasty Potatoes does win the first match against the Prime NND. We'll see what happens in this next match of the best of 3. This will be fully broadcasted and streamed, so do not worry too much about missing this one. Though we do apologize for the initial release, I suppose, or the initial match we couldn't broadcast, simply because these things have to happen sometimes. That won't happen with a final or anything of the sort. This is the semi-final, though, of the lower brackets. The Prime NND will fighting against Nasty Potatoes to see who will get into the final of the lower brackets, able to get one step into or able to get into that final. Finally, Nasty Potatoes, who come from the winners brackets, I do believe they just lost to MVP Revolution, whereas the Prime NND, they come from the losers brackets. And they're just advancing forward and forward, trying to see how far they can go, even though they might have not done too well in the group stages. Let's see how, let's see who can win the second matchup, because Nasty Potatoes want to make this a 2-0, and just easily cream the Prime NND with a simple 2-0. But of course, the guys from Prime NND are more than ready. The guys from the Prime NND are more than ready to try to make this a tie. That said, my name is DSwordfish. I'll be your caster for today. Let's get right into the draft, shall we? Magnus, Jakiro, TA, and Terrorblade all banned out by Nasty Potatoes. They pick up a Trim Protector, a Shadow Shaman, and a Luna. The Prime NND ban out the Kunkka, the Wind Ranger, well, just bans for Nasty Potatoes. The Juggernaut, the Lifestealer, the Crystal Maiden, Sand King, and we are picked up by them. They already starting out with some strong lane domination, with the Crystal Maiden able to also organize kills. The Weaver and the Sand King as well, able to do well in lane in general. The Sand King is a varied hero that can be played both as an off lane and as a support right now, and with the Crystal Maiden it works well in both ways. The Weaver similarly can also be played in a variety of positions, but I guess the best part about her is the fact that she is a carry with a lot of damage potential. And now Timbersaw gets picked up by the Prime NND. Cool stuff. I mean, they combine that with the Weaver. They combine the Timbersaw obviously with the Weaver, making him quite strong, because you have a combination of both physical and magical damage, in addition to a great amount of what's it called, slippery carries. The answer to this for Nasty Potatoes was Earthshaker as an off-laner, after already picking up a Shadow Shaman and Trim Protector as supports. It's not too bad of an idea, considering the Shadow Shaman already comes with a lot of stuns, the Trim Protector comes with a root, and now you add 2 stuns to it, in addition to a bit of magical damage. With a bit of with a Blink Dagger pretty early, Nasty Potatoes could run this Earthshaker, and it would be decent for them. And then they would rely on a strategy where it's just pretty much the Luna carrying them to victory. It definitely seems like an idea here. If I was the Prime NND, I'm afraid of 2 heroes by Nasty Potatoes, Tinker and Puck. He just banned the Invoker, I'm gonna ban the Tinker. And Nasty Potatoes can play both, and they both work really well in this draft. Both Puck and Tinker are able to destroy Timbersaw pretty easily, and so does the Weaver, because they have a lot of area damage anyway that can stop the Sand King initiation to some degree, or at least run away from it. So honestly, the preference here is Puck, but of course the ban from the Invoker would indicate a possible Tinker pick, because Puck would just destroy him in lane. So let's see what the Prime NND decide to do. They ban themselves the Puck, so they do acknowledge that was the worst hero. Pick up a Lina if they have to fight a Tinker, but of course that should still be the pick for Nasty Potatoes. Podlo is I mean, quite easy to predict. I suppose you could also go for the Queen of Pain here, and the Queen of Pain does serve a similar function to the Puck, though I do find her weaker than the Tinker against Lina specifically. Because the Lina can evade your spells and whatnot, but the Tinker can use the laser and try to take you away from last hitting. In addition to the Tinker having the March of the Machines, which is a bit more powerful against the Weaver. Now, lovely. The computer just lovely. 1 second, guys. This is hopefully the last time I have to restart Dota in this whole stream of the match. This happens often because, well, it's they haven't there's an issue with the drafting phase essentially. Let's hope we can get back. That's why it all goes all black. It's not that, it's just that Dota's crashed right now, and reinstalling and whatnot doesn't really help it much, even with a clean reinstall. Alright, let's see. Okay, last pick is Tinker. Cool. So I wasn't wrong about that. The Poglo Tinker pick seemed much more obvious even than the Pug pick, to be perfectly honest, because of that ban against the Invoker. Of course, the Prime NND, maybe they wanted to be, or maybe Nasty Potatoes wanted to taunt the Prime NND here by betting at the Invoker. Kind of showing him off that we were going to go for Tinker since the beginning, but they ended up going for Tinker, so that works out for them. They also have a lot of split pushing now with the Tinker, which is why it works so well with their synergy. Tower defense with Trim Protector and Tinker, a bit of split pushing with Tinker and Luna, of course, and the Shadow Shaman. And you combine that with a lot of damaging power and stuns with the Earthshaker, Shadow Shaman, Luna, and then, of course, the Tinker now with deals even more damage. It's really good against what the Prime ND is showing, because Weaver can't dispel Laser off herself unless she buys BKB. Timbersaw really can't take the damage away from the Tinker unless he has previous stacks prepared onto the reactive armor to give him the large HP region. And then the March of the Machines both destroys Weaver and Sanking without even caring about their invisibility, in addition to the Lina as well if she does come close, who doesn't have the best range in the world if she does want to find a Tinker. He might have a bit of a difficult lane against the Lina, because Lina is a very powerful lane dominator, but even so I would actually pick the Tinker, just because in the mid game you should be able to recover with March of the Machines much more than the enemy team can with the Lina and her Light Strike Array plus the Dragon Slave combo. Wow, that is rich. That is rich. We do not compare. We slaves do not compare to the power of the 1706 tower. Well, wow. Wow. Alright, we're in the match now. Cool. This time we're going to be able to cast it. I'm glad. I'm sorry about the previous match, like I said. Do apologize by not being able to broadcast that, but again, no ticket led to that situation. This is a weird thing. No, maybe it's the... Oh, sorry about this, guys. Actually, completely forgot. I don't know why. In fact, I'm gonna take it now, just for the future. I just don't... It just completely passes my... I like playing with it, obviously, but I don't like casting with it. I just like doing the default set. Alright, there. I mean, obviously we can't change it for this game, or should be able to change for this game, but next game we'll be able to change it. I do apologize for the, again, for the terrain. God, so many technical difficulties today. It just slipped my mind, to be honest. No weather effects or anything of the sort, just the terrain, so I guess you can look at it and it's cool and all. It's not like it really stops vision or anything. Alright. Let's present the teams real quick before we go on with the game. My name is DSwordfish, I'll be your caster for today. And we have a match between the Prime NND and Nasty Potatoes. So let's see what these guys are bringing to the table. We have the Prime NND here on the Radiant side, representing the good guys with one loss already to their name. And we have NFR here on the Crystal Main, the support position. Please stop. The Crystal Main, the support position, played by NFR here. Rusman will be running the Lina in the mid position. R7 is going to be playing the Sanking in the support position. The offlaner, the carry is going to be Panda with the Weaver, and finally on the offlane is going to be a Timbersaw played by BFL. As for Nasty Potatoes, the guys playing the bad guys today on the dire side. We have Death Sama as the Earthshaker in the offlaner position. Joining him will be the Shadow Shaman, played by Crimson in the support position. And the carry is going to be a Luna, played by TMT. The carry is going to be a Luna, played by TMT. The Trim Protector, played by Eden here in the second support position. And then finally in the mid lane, Ponlo with his Tinker. Alright, please work. Sorry about this. Again, technical difficulties with the mouse and Dota. Cool. Should be set. Right. Just so I can control the camera properly. It's already hard enough as is. Don't really want to add the levels of difficulty to it. Alright. So, how the lanes are going to go for now. It's going to be quite difficult. Lina to win the lane. Sorry, for the Tinker to win the lane, especially with the help of the Sanking that's going to be coming into the mid lane. With some Caustic Finalis, you can already put Pawn in a difficult position. You can easily make stacks for either you and the Lina, and you can even help her take him. So the Tinker is probably not going to win this lane without a huge fight from his part. Maybe even force the rotation in his case. What would you rotate? Oh, Timbersaw's actually going down bottom. The root, the damage from the Luna, and there he goes. TMT, way too much damage just simply with the just with the root from the overgo 0.7, and of course that Lunar Blessing, which helps out the two supports in the game. with the highest attack damage. It used to be Lich Doctor and Treant Protector, and now it is Shadow Shaman and the Treant Protector. And those two with Lunar Blessing just add ridiculous amount of damage, even if it's to a Timbersaw who went for Reactive Armor level 1. But it's only Reactive Armor level 1, which is frankly not that powerful. So like I said, they're not able to rotate much. The supports here down bottom, because the tanking has already rotated down bottom and has already been forced to die. So the aggressive Nasty Potatoes want to dominate this lane, play an aggressive tri-lane with Luna, and it's probably going to work out for them. While the Earthshaker is kind of solo laning, which allows him to get better experience, because he's one of the worst off laners in terms of lane control. So that's a pretty good idea for them. And thus, with the Luna here, you can actually get a lot of easy kills just with the Turn Protector and the Luna, but they've also rotated the Shadow Shaman for extra pushing power, right? And of course, the extra stuns that he brings to the table. Against the Timbersaw, this is quite an easy kill as long as it doesn't get too many stacks of reactive armor or many stacks of Timber Chain. If you spam Timber Chain too much, they should be pretty much fine. So the whole point, I guess, is to kill PFL maybe 1-2 times and then rotate to the mid lane with the Turn Protector or the Shadow Shaman. Maybe probably the Shadow Shaman. Unless they kill the Tinker now, this would be a problem. Frostbite, in they go. They have the Butter Strike as well. Tinker can't really move. Light Strike Array will hit him as well. He couldn't use the laser in time, and the Tinker will go down to the damage that Luna is putting out. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, they get a counter kill. The Nasty Potatoes will take the life of the Timbersaw. So Tinker for Timber. And even though the names sound similar, it's definitely not an even trade, as the NND pretty happy with how that went. Because they did take the life of the Tinker in the mid lane, thus forcing easier lane for Luna, and she's supposed to, or Lena, sorry, and she's supposed to snowball out of control anyway. Only issue here is that Summon might actually be a pretty powerful Earthshaker, and the Earthshaker doesn't do particularly amazingly with items. Well, BFL, careful, the Shadow Shaman is already shackling him, a great Burrow Strike to stop the shackles from finishing, and with that TMT won't be able to get that kill, even though he did have that one level Lucent Beam. But like I was saying, the items on Earthshaker are not necessarily the best in the world. You don't need them. You don't need anything but Blink Dagger and Arcane Boots. I like the Arcane Boots if you're alone off-lane Earthshaker more than the Tranquils. And the Soul Ring, it just seems like they're better. But of course, those Arcane Boots on the Earthshaker are going to cost quite a lot of expense. And those plus Blink Dagger eventually will cost a bit. But those are the only things that the Earthshaker really needs. Oh, NFR is dead. They deal way too much damage with Lunar Blessing. They even have the Shackles onto the only man that can stun them out of him. And the Sand King won't have a chance to survive. Like I said, that Lunar Blessing in a powerful lane, in a good lane, well played, is just impossible to fight against them. Especially when you have a Shackle and a Root in your lane. And rotating the supports here just doesn't work out, but they've actually given a lot of space to the Tinker, who's managed to recover ever so slightly, wasn't missing so many lasses, you know, just simply because of the space that the Treant Protector and the Shadow Shaman are giving him. Once they've realized the space is not enough anymore, and they do actually have to help the Tinker in lane, they move the Treant Protector just to kind of help him out, probably to get a couple last or hits onto Rizman, put a good ward. That's a good idea. And then once you get the core items, which are quite cheap on the Earthshaker, getting a bit of farm allows you to get something like a Garden Greaves, for example, which is not surprisingly pretty powerful, even though Earthshaker is more of an initiator. Dual Scepter, Force Staff, those kind of items that you need on someone, but you don't really get. Solar Crest is actually fantastic on Earthshaker as well, because you deal a ridiculous amount of damage with your Enchant Totem, which, in my opinion, should be maxed before Aftershock, if you do want to do the extra bit of damage just by swinging 2 towers, but, well, whatever. But it does amplify the damage of Enchant Totem ridiculously. And now, it's a kill for BFL. He rotates stop, they catch a Boost Beam. There's the help for the lead sheet. The Fixture closes him out. And the poor Timbersaw had a pathway right to hell. With a beautifully placed Fissure this allowed his movement speed. And this allowed him to do any trickery. With level 1 Timber Chain, you're just not able to do any trickery with that kind of a pathway. Because you really can't move close enough, like I said before. The Timber Chain is used when you need the mobility, but of course you need to move to get the right trees so that you get to take the maximum advantage out of the Timber Chain. It's not like a Blink where you can blink anywhere. It is not like a, I don't know, what other escape mechanisms are there? A Bolt Lightning, which you can just use it constantly. In this case, you really do need to take care of where the trees are. Right, in the middle lane, we see a small rotation by Crystal Bay and the Sand King. Ponlo could be in trouble. His tree armor is running out, or living armor is running out, and they could catch him with a frostbite. There it is. He stands too close for the creep. The Burrow Strike could still achieve him. Oh, just barely in the tip. Ponlo needs to run away. The Laguna's Blade will come in time. They didn't know what to do. The Courier, though, commits suicide because they were a bit too hasty with it. In fact, NFR will also die to Crimson's damage. And here, the guys from the Prime NND do take a kill on the Tinker, but at what was the exchange rate there? Because you did lose the Courier's result, you lost the support anyway, which you didn't actually get much out of that gank, and all in exchange for a Tinker that wasn't really that farmed anyway, because his net worth is among the lowest this game, because you've been playing against Alina. And I know for now it seems like Nasty Potato's strategy seems a bit more solid in the fact that they're getting farm in the Luna, and the Tinker will eventually just recover using the jungle. I am surprised that we don't see many stacks though for him. I think this is a stack. It looks like a stack, missing the biggest two creeps. This is also missing the biggest creep. That's so weird. Oh, Frostbite, I suppose. Okay, this is a huge stack for the Tinker, I suppose. There's no stack over here. Now finally created itself. We need some more stacks for Mr. Tinker. Ponlo's not going to recover and get those travel boots in time if you don't get those stacks up for him. Great pick of views raindrops, by the way. Because, oh no, Ponlo's dead again. The Burrow Strike, this time he misses. Ponlo might actually survive here. He uses the laser onto the Lina so he can't hit it. Laguna's Blade, not enough damage, not enough mana to use it. And the March of the Machine is actually hurting R7 quite a lot. There's the root onto the Lina. One more attack onto Roosmine will kill her off. But she is being helped out by the Crystal Maiden. R7 also could have died here to the Trim Protector's damage. Instead, the heat-seeking missiles will hit him right in the face before the Shrine can be activated. But of course, Nasty Potatoes can't get the kill onto Lina. She survives, and they themselves use their own shrine. Alright, that worked out okay. I mean, considering they didn't not only not kill the Tinker, they couldn't kill the Tinker, and Tinker also got a kill onto the Sand King, which is exactly what Nasty Potatoes would be hoping for, because of course they would love to get the kill on Alina, but it's a bit hard, and you beggars can be choosers, especially when they're ganking you with 3 people on the mid lane. Those 2-man rotations are not easy, or are hard to punish, you know, because they're strong rotations. The Earthshaker and the Lina, sorry, not the Earthshaker, the Sand King and the Lina are quite a powerful ganking duo if you can use them properly. But of course, at level 1, Burrowstrike is screwing over the Sand King a lot. Now it's fine level 2, but it's still not powerful enough to really catch the Tinker in an easy circumstances. You see they're juking with the trees. Puts him in a difficult position usually. Oh, look at that damage on the Enchant Totem. Just 1 level. There's the root as well. The Leech Sheet to slow him down ever so slightly. That Burrowstrike doesn't have much range, but it should be able to save him from Death Sama, unless he uses an Enchant Totem. And then obviously the Fissure. He seems to be diving this completely. There's the Fissure. They know where he is. Enchant Totem, no need for it. They already used an Echo Slam. Get the kill onto the enemy support. Use that Echo Slam for a bit of extra gold. And with this Death Sama, we'll happily be closer and closer to the Blink Dagger Eagle to get around minute 10, I can only imagine. He even had the Iron Talon queued up and needed. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Ponlo seems to die to Roosmanya Panda's gank. Sorry about that, I actually completely missed that because I was concentrating on the items that Earthshaker was going to go for. I still like the Blink Dagger idea straight up first. The Lina's going to be screwed over by that. A proper Echo Slam or a proper Earthshaker Fissure just completely wins the match for you. Actually a really powerful hero if you learn to play him properly at any stage of the game. We already saw GH. He's one of those heroes that if you actually can play him so well, you can have an impact even though he's not a good hero at all. We already saw GH in the Kiev Major win a whole game. And the second game they didn't win because Earthshaker was already shown up the first game, so they didn't have the surprise factor, and well, they believed in GH's power. But in the first game, it was fantastic watching him against, who was it they were playing against? I think it was IG actually. I do think it was IG that they lost against, and it was pretty impressive because the first game went entirely for them. Entirely for them. And that was because of the GH Earthshaker. And this could be the same for Death Sama if he knows how to play the Earthshaker well. I mean, he used to be an offlane hero, so it wouldn't be too surprising if they can play him offlane still. And with the recent buff he got to the range fissure, the fissure range, sorry, you can go for full, like, Aethelins, for example, instead of Arcane Boots, or assemble Aethelins later for Arcane Boots, because of the buff the Aethelins got, or no, rework that they got. Oh, careful, you don't really want to fight this. In fact, the Sand King is already dead. The Earthshaker could die as a result of Swarm hits, and Panda wants to commit to this Laguna's Blade. He's being saved by the living armor, but Death Sama can only stun out the Weaver for a couple more seconds. He keeps fighting her for as long as he can, but can't get that kill. Meanwhile, the Lina in the backlines, joined by the Crystal Maiden, is able to kill TMT. No, Roosmine will survive. He was just barely enough health, but the Crystal Crystal Maiden will be shackled and not drawn as NFR takes the kill onto both the supports in the enemy team. Sorry, Rusman takes the kill onto both the supports in the enemy team. Nasty Potatoes are losing a lot, though they still have the advantage. They actually lose 2 supports and an offlaner there, even though they didn't want to, and could only get 1 simple kill at the beginning against the Sand. Those shackles are very powerful, but they're so easily cancelable by the enemy team. In fact, they were so powerful, we went for 2 levels of it. That's not a bad idea, but getting the Hex to have those 2 stuns and increase your shackles duration by a bit more, I think that's the best way to do this. The shackles is a pretty low cooldown spell, deals a ridiculous amount of damage, surely, but you don't really want to combine it if you don't have any other stuns to stop a Life Strike Array or Frostbite or the thousands of things that can come out. In fact, it's so obvious that you usually max Hex just so you can shackle for longer as well, or sometimes because it's just an instant cast, or because it lasts 3.5 goddamn seconds, which is also a really long stun, etc, etc. Right, you have the 4-step. 4-step is next time for desktop after the Blink Dagger. Yeah, seems appropriate. The Luna herself is going for a Mask of Madness. That does not seem as appropriate, but we'll talk about it in a second. As NFR wants to kill the Luna, doesn't help the Luna. Looking is available. Living Armor helping her out. Maybe even the Earthshaker comes with a Fissure. Also the Echo Slam, and goodbye the Lena, the Crystal Maiden. The 2 sisters disappear from the map, and TMT survives happily, and with a Mask of Madness now in his power. I don't know how good the Mask of Madness or Luna, to be honest. You only have 2 spells granted, Lucent Beam and Eclipse, and you do have a great stat gain, so you do go well with the Mask of Madness, especially because of your Affinity to Lifesteal and high agility gain. So your armor usually is quite high. The Mask of Madness doesn't take away too much out of you. Your extra movements, the extra movement speed is percentage. It's based on a percentage, if I'm not mistaken, right? Percentage-wise. It's percentual. Okay, we'll talk about it in a second. Okay, for Weaver, stunned out. Great shackles. They caught her. She can't use the poor time lapse. Crimson is not going to be stopped by a simple chakram. He needs to be stunned, and those shackles last forever. They even find out the Sand King. They stun him out. Fissure, and Eden doesn't care about the dust because they already got the kill they needed. Now, the Lena still wants to destroy somebody because she has the Laguna Blade, but instead it's going to be the Crystal Maiden to be hunted down. Another easy kill on the backlines, which the Prime NND, because of the lack of organization, can't really stop them. I mean, this positioning is not ideal for them. The Eclipse is available for Luna. She can also use the Berserkers. And there's the Eclipse used. Finally catching out the Timber Saw. Destroyed in a couple hits. The Hex comes up to the Lena. There's the Shackles. They can continue to hit her. And finally, the help from the Echo Stump. Or Echo... No, Aftershock. The help from the Aftershock to keep her stunned for longer. That Lena can absolutely not move. The Nasty Potatoes will get a bunch of kills in this bottom lane. That was the choo-choo, the train of feet. That was actually a team wipe, I just realized. Because Nasty Potatoes went around eliminating everyone they could see. And that was really good because what they did there was stop the supporting cast, which in this case for the Prime NND is pretty much their whole team fight. The team fight for the Timber Saw is not as effective as we saw there. The Chakram cannot stop the Shackles, right? I didn't just say that for the sake of saying something. I said that because, of course, the Chakram is a lot of damage, but doesn't actually offer you the AoE stuns or AoE slows that you're looking for. The Crystal Maiden and the Sand King do this. By killing the Weaver first, you take away the mobility from the enemy team. It's only the Timber Saw left, and early on, he doesn't really have that much mobility because of his lock of mana game, because he's in Bloodstone, right? And he actually went for Hood of Defiance. So he has arcane boots, but that's it. You don't really want to whirl around in at the speed of sound with Timber Chain in the early game, right? So they kill the Weaver, who's the girl with most mobility, I suppose, or spider, or whatever you want to call it. And by taking her away, they can just go for the supports, and no, they can't get punished because nobody can move to the supports in time. So they go around, punish the positioning of the bad positioning of a couple supports, kill their supporting cast, and then win the team fight against 2, because it's really easy to win a 5 versus 2. I noticed that Panda actually went for the Solar Crest build. This is a build we haven't seen on Weaver in a long time. I mean, I think it was Eternal Envy started doing it, or I'm not entirely sure. Oh, Fissure, Timber Saw, stealing, there'll be no damage. Almost dead, and the final hit with the Echo Slam will finish him off. That somehow has to TP away, doesn't have enough HP to actually do so in time. So he has to go into the trees. He's going to be killed by the Weaver eventually. Panda doesn't seem to care too much. The Shackles catch out the poor Crixalis, and with the damage from the heat-seeking missiles, he's going to go down. Nasty Potatoes lose 1 and take 2 as a result. I think that's pretty fair. Crimson, though, might have been a bit too far out. He actually goes and uses the snakes, but was that good enough? I mean, Panda's probably not going to die to them. They also see where the Twin Protector is. The Tinker comes back. The Lucent Beam stops the Crystal Maiden, and Panda have to kill Panda somehow, but they've already destroyed the creep that Tinker was TPing to, so he's going to have to refresh and retry. Panda trying to take the stack before the enemy team can. It's only a dual stack, honestly, so it's not really that big a deal. those snakes were kind of wasted there. But to be fair, at least they didn't take him for free goals. So all in all, it's not that big of a cooldown if you're gonna, if you know the enemy team can't use them for gold. Because at least you don't lose the valuable gold that the snakes provide. So yeah, it could be worse. Right now, I guess what they're looking for is the 4-star and Death Summon, so you can actually use Initiate a bit more efficiently without dying, and that's an important thing. Paulo, on the other hand, the playing deck, or TMT here as well with the Manta style would be a nice addition. For the Private NND, they're actually going for very, very poor items. The Medallion of Courage, but not even turning into Soul Crest is not a good sign for Panda. Obviously, if possible, he'd just rather not have that. He's going to grab a Dragon Lance as well himself, and oh, they're going to catch another Trim Protector. Turn it. Or use the Frostbite onto it. Living Armor will give him a lot of resistance. I'll be surprised if they can catch it. Even with the Yule Scepter, you did go for the extra cast rate, so it's actually quite hard to catch a Trim Protector simply with the Yule Scepter nowadays. The Blink Dagger is going to be the next item on Paulo, so he can split push a bit more efficiently. But of course, what I'd be worried about if I was the guys at the Prime NND is the Luna. Once she gets her Manta Style, she gets the ability to actually take away your Mask of Madness, because that's what Manta Style does. It takes away the D-Build. So, pretty powerful. Oh, Paulo, careful. In the top lane, he's just going to be targeted out by the Yule Scepter and the Ray and combo the leaf. We'll see in a second when they allow me to see the fight recap. Yep. No, Yule Scepter, just a life struck array card. Okay, Paulo's playing it in with fire though. Granted, that's a tier 1 for tier 2, so it's a better trade for Nasty Potatoes anyway. It's still, obviously, Paulo died. And the Living Armor is actually helping his tower quite a lot in their top lane. They want to defend this to some degree. Rusman comes in. There's the Air Shock. Echo Slam, sorry. They kill the Weaver actually with just area damage. And the Burster comes in with an Epicenter guarantee. TMT tanking that like a champ. Now the Living Armor uses the Eclipse, destroys the Sanking. And the only thing left here behind is Rusman, but they're chasing him. Overgrowth doesn't actually quite hit because Life Strike Array will stop him before he can. The Blink Dagger not yet available, and Rusman will be able to just walk away thanks to a beautiful Life Strike Array. They do lose 3 for a tower though, and it was only a tier 1. The tier 2 down in the... Oh, the tier 2 didn't get taken. Oh no, the tier 2 down in the mid lane did go down, so I suppose that's still a tier 2 for a tier 1. Better trade for Nasty Potatoes. And then Paulo proceeds to just go to the middle lane, try to farm that Ethernet. Actually, almost killed Rusman as well. He killed him. Oh, the fissure just stops him and distracts, finishes him off. Eden, though, they want to mow him down. They have a Timber Saw to do it, and they also have that annoying creep. Never mind, Eden actually went invisible. He might survive. Oh, no more trees left. Eden's dead, but Tessama actually destroys NFR in the backline. This was a simple enchant totem and fissure. He has to run away though. Crimson could be himself in trouble. March the machines to zone the enemy team out. The Chakra misses Crimson completely. He blinks away, but Tessama might not have the Echo Slam, but he still has another fissure very soon. He has the Force Stuff as well. He might want to use it. Heat-seeking missiles, fissure as well. Catch out the Weaver. The March the machine starting to deal a bit of damage, but the Weaver, okay, Shikuchi herself away. Worst case scenario, she did have that time lapse, so she would have been fine. Even if the Tinker decided to blink on her and laser heat-seeking missiles, it would have been perfectly okay, because the Weaver can resist most of the damage. Timbersaw himself already getting or finally finishing up that Hooded Defiance, so very valuable, so very needed this game, especially against the Tinker. You have the heat-seeking missile damage, and to some degree the March of the Machine damage, which you have to get rid of. You also have to get rid of the Shadow Shaman damage, because those Death Shocks are ridiculous, actually, so it's a good idea to stop that. Try to take this as fast as they can, but it's actually not that easy, is it? Eden went for the Soul Crest, pretty useful for Eden, honestly. It's one of those items that not only allow you to a lot of versatility, because you can take objectives, but also siege high ground, etc., but it also allows you to get kills quite easily and have a bit more resistance on one of your supports, which is important, because Shrimp Protector right now wants to play a bit suicidally, but knowing that he has tank, right, because he has a lot of HP, or strength gain, I think it's 3.0 per level, 3.6 per level, it's ridiculous, sorry. It was more ridiculous than I even imagined, so it's a good amount of strength per level, and the Shrimp Protector in this case wants to have a bit more resistance as well to physical attacks, just not just strength. Oh no, Pongo, careful, that's so great, not gonna hit! A beautiful fissure, closer than me with the March of the Machines, the lead is gonna go down first thanks to the Shackles damage, but Paulo will die to the Timber Saw. He has way too much damage to the Chakram, and with this the Luna probably not going to be able to chase out anybody. She does have the Eclipse if she could find anyone, but sadly that's not going to be the case. That was a beautiful fissure, but the Timber Saw did also play pretty well. Great chakram there. Okay. He did, I think, wants to kill Panda. Has the medallion, so actually should be an easy kill. Should reduce him to really low health. Here's the Crystal Nova, wants to go into Panda. Crimson gets the kill onto the other Panda. Sorry, this is NFR, not Panda. And there it is. Eden gets that kill. Right, I don't know how Weaver died in the... Oh, she was still there? Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, she was still there, got shackled. I can only presume that she tried to run away there, and then got shackled and died. Oh no, that was just showing me the Trim Protector. Well, I mean that was a pretty good kill though on the on the Crystal Maiden. Taking, I mean, it seems like a dumb kill, of course, and the Weaver is much more important. It is, but taking down the Crystal Maiden, it's the zone out is gone for quite a while, and he actually doesn't even have freezing fields, or stopping that further farming or further experience gaining from the Crystal Maiden is great if you guys are nasty potatoes. And now they're going to be taking a tower in the bottom lane, easy tier 2 for them. Crimson and TMT just joining in. Aegis, sorry, and the Master Serpent Ward if necessary for the next tower. They could really try taking the tier 3 while the Aegis is still up, but instead going for a gank seems like a better idea. Rusman is really putting himself in a good position. They know exactly where he is. NFR himself also be seen the sentry. Oh, there's a heat-seeking missiles. The Overgrowth already used the Aftershock as well. They want to make sure they kill Alina, and they will do so. Both sisters will go down to the nasty potatoes, who happily take that kill, even sacrificing an Overgrowth for his Panda. In the bottom lane tries to outpush this lane so they can't get pushed from two sides at the same time, but this is going to be difficult. They're coming with a Mass Serpent Wards, and they might not be a level 20 Mass Serpent Wards, but they're still pretty strong. Using them in the better positioning than I usually see, because they're in range for the rack, but also far away enough that they are not easily destroyable. Panda wants to try to do this anyway, though. Heat-seeking missiles to hit him and force him to use a shrine. That's the shrine gone, but they want to take these towers already. That's why they're using the shrine so early. However, without the Lina, they can't really fight. The Earthshaker continues to use the enchant totem to deal damage to buildings, and those Serpent Wards so difficult to take away. TMT still has his Aegis, so careful. The Tinker just annoying with the March of the Machines coming in now, Crystal Maiden is blown up to pieces because of the damage that Sama can put out. And those Lunar Glaives, those bouncing glaives, are making this quite hard for them. Rusman, careful. He could initiate any second. But at the same time, Nasty Potatoes have a plan ready. Those March of the Machines makes it impossible to initiate upon them without some... well, proper vision. There's the fissure. We'll catch out the... Oh! The Echo Slime comes in, catches out the 2 cores, and the Timber Saw's already dead. The Epicenter comes out a bit too late. Oh, actually, luckily the Lina will survive with a Blink Dagger, but they managed to kill off the Crixalis as well, and his Epicenter is wasted. Meanwhile, the Tinker manages to get close to the Lina. Heat-seeking missiles, lasers, GG, called out by the Prime NND. Nasty Potatoes with that final Echo Slam. They get the kills they needed, and the Prime NND, the last Indonesian hope of this tournament, will be losing to Nasty Potatoes 2-0 in this best of 3, thus rescinding the power of continuing this tournament and allowing the guys from Nasty Potatoes to advance into the finals for the lower brackets, guys. That has been it for today. Congratulations for watching the ProDota Cup SCA. It's been a good day for us. Sorry for missing the first game, but again, technical difficulties just allowed us to broadcast that. We still had to do it on schedule for the teams, but we couldn't do it on schedule for the broadcasters. And that's it, guys. I hope you join us 2 days from now with the next semifinal game between the guys at I think it's Nasty Potatoes. We're fighting against whoever MVP Revolution beat recently. I'm not entirely certain, but anyway. Try coming in 2 days later, and you'll see the game between the Prime NND and Nasty Potatoes and his next opponent. That's it, guys. I will be joining you guys tomorrow or 2 days from now with some more ProDota Cup. For now, I'll say goodbye. It's been a pleasure. My name has been DSwordfish. Follow me on Twitter if you did enjoy the cast at DSwordfish, and I'll see you guys next time with some more games between Nasty Potatoes and the Prime NND.